Hello friends, in today's video I'm going to show you how to install EmulationStation to your RG350. All we're going to need is a micro SD card. Mine that I'm using has 64 gigabytes, but I think even a 16 or maybe an 8 gigabyte micro SD card would be sufficient for this. So yeah, actually that's all we need to be prepared. The rest we get from the internet. So let's get started. First of all, we're gonna prepare our micro SD card. I'm gonna connect mine with the PC. So give me a second. Plug this thing in. Okay. And there it is. This is my micro SD card. And what we're gonna do first is we're gonna format it. We need to get it into the right file system, which is exFAT, or alternatively you could also use FAT32. Since mine only allows me to partition it to exFAT, I'm going to choose exFAT, and we're going to label it RG-350. This name is important. It's later used to find the correct links on the SD card. So for now we're going to name it RG350, and I can show you later how you can rename it and adapt everything to give it a different name. Okay, let's start this. Yeah, everything's going to be deleted on this thing. It's okay. And format is finished. Now we have our new completely free SD card called RG350. Now we're totally prepared with everything. And what we're going to do next is we need to download the zip file, including the EmulationStation installation stuff. And therefore, we go to this site over here. I'm going to put you the link into the video's description. So what we're going to download here is EmulationStation RG350 configured.zip. This is what we need. So click on it. Wait until it's downloaded. Jump into the download folder, and here is our zip archive. Gonna right click on it, say extract, gonna extract it to a folder named like the zip archive. Here we are, gonna jump right into it, and this is what you get. I expect you guys are all working on Windows, and since I only have a Windows PC, I can't tell you how to do it on macOS, but it seems to be also possible with macOS or maybe also with Linux. Everything is well described in the instructions text file, so it's going to open it. It tells us to prepare our SD card and label it RG350. That's what we already did. And next, we're going to drag the external SD card content to our SD card. So that means we're going to switch over to this folder over here, external SD card. We're going to choose everything from it. We're going to copy it. And we're going to paste it right onto our SD card. Okay, that's the first step. Now, let's see what's going to be next. We're going to skip the part with adding our game picture files. Okay, we're going to do that later. Now the next step is to place our emulators to the emulator folder right there. So we open up that folder, and the next thing we need we're going to need the emulators. Okay, and back on the site that I already showed you, you will also find some emulators. So here are, for example, FCEUX OPG. That is a NES emulator. So we're going to download this one. Right click, save, and I'm going to save it to my download folder. Save. Okay, now we got a NES emulator. Let's take another emulator, the Pocket SNES emulator, which is a Super Famicom emulator for the Super Nintendo. Gonna download this one as well. Let's continue with another from the next site. So you jump back. I will put down the link description to even more emulators here. These are the default emulators, and there is a section of extra emulators as well, where you can choose from your favorite emulators. I would recommend to get Gambat, which is a Game Boy emulator. So let's save this one as well. MAM for sure. I would download this one too, but I skip it for now because I only want to show you a few. Let's take PCSX for All, which is a PlayStation 1 emulator. One of you guys asked for it in the comments, so I will add it right now to show you. Okay, save this one as well. And maybe let's get Pico Drive, which is a emulator for Sega, Genesis, Mega Drive, and 32-bit. Let's say this one as well. And last but not least, let's take the Rackbar, which is a emulator for the Game Boy Advance. Okay, let's save this one as well. Okay, now we got some emulators that we could add to EmulationStation. Let's jump back to the download folder. Now we're gonna copy all the emulators we just downloaded. Back on our SD card, we're gonna jump right into the emulators folder and paste the emulators we just downloaded. Okay, so let's see what are the next steps. Yeah, now we're gonna have to rename them correctly. So in that emulators folder, there's a readme text file that tells you how these emulators should be called. And as you can see already, FCEUX, this one is already named correctly. But for example, the PCSX for All, the PlayStation emulator, it has this additional text in it, so we want to get rid of it. So we remove everything behind PCSX for All. Pico Drive, it's just called Pico Drive with a capital P and a capital D. And remember guys, these names are case sensitive, so we really have to respect capital letters. What's the next? Rackbar, for example. Okay, have to remove the version string behind, and I think the rest looks pretty okay. Gambat. Okay, so for now, for these 6 emulators, we are fine. They're named correctly, and we can continue. So next will be to drag the folder internal SD card to our SD card. We're gonna skip this part. We're gonna power on our RG350 and directly connect it with our PC. So in this description, they suggest to copy it to the external SD card and then on the device copy it over to the internal SD card. But that is not necessary since we already have access to the device. So I'm going to open up WinSCP and connect to my RG350. I already described in a previous video how to make a connection to your RG350. If you haven't seen that video or you don't know how to make it, just watch my video and come back here to continue. It's pretty simple. Okay, here we go. Gonna connect to the device. This is our main navigation point, the /media folder. And from here we get into the data directory to the apps directory. And here you find all the apps that are installed on your RG350. I think you will see a lot of apps you already found on your device. And there you put the EmulationStation OPK file. When you put it here for the first time, you should power on your device and you should see the EmulationStation application in your applications section on the device. Start it for once. So if it's getting started, it creates a folder that we need in the next step. So make a short break here, start your device, EmulationStation will not start. It will say it's missing some stuff, so just start it and let it end, and then come back to this place on the video. We're going to continue. Okay, so if you've done that, the next step would be to copy the files to the EmulationStation folder. It's a hidden folder. It's located in Media, Data, Local, Home, and as you can see, there is nothing visible in WinSCP. Therefore, you have to go to the options or settings. I don't know how it's on your version, your English version. Then go to list windows, listing windows, listing folders, I don't know, and go into that general section up here and allow to show hidden files. If you check that, go to OK, you will see all these folders, those hidden folders starting with a dot, will show up, and you will find the EmulationStation folder. So we jump in there, and you can see it already has content in it, since I already done that before. You just go over, go to that data folder, copy all these files from here, say copy, go back to WinSCP, and paste them right into here. Yeah, I will do it. It will ask me to overwrite, since it already had content on it. Say yes to all. We'll overwrite it again. This will take some time. So it really takes a long time to copy these files, but this is one of the last steps for EmulationStation to get finally installed. Now it's time to add our ROMs. Okay, back on our external SD card, we're gonna fill some ROMs onto it. So we change to the ROMs folder, and as you can see, it already has some prepared folders in there for your different systems, and I already prepared some ROMs for the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. So let's fill them into the correct directories on your external SD card. So let's start with the Game Boy. So I take some ROMs from here, Super Mario Land, Super Mario. Let's just take some. Let's take Super Mario Land. Copy this one in. Then for next, let's take a Game Boy Advanced ROM, like Super Mario Advance. Copy it to the Game Boy Advance folder. Let's take a Game Boy Color game. Yeah, let's take Zelda. Game Boy Color, put it right there. Some NES games. I take Super Mario Bros. The Super Mario System on the SD card side, and some Sony PlayStation game. I like Castlevania. So where is it? There. We copy this stuff to the SD card. It's gonna take a little longer. I'm gonna speed it up for you guys. Okay, the transfer is complete. Now, last but not least, we're gonna put some Super Nintendo game on it. So change to the Super Nintendo folder. Let's take Super Mario World and copy it to our micro SD card. Well, everything's fine so far. Now we got the ROMs on it. Now everything is ready to play some emulator games on the RG350 with EmulationStation. But there's something I mentioned that I want to show you. Some of the games might not be found on the device because the default file extension it is looking for is .zip, and this is not valid for like every game. I see I have a Super Mario Kart game. I could copy this one over as well, which has the file extension SMC, for example. And to allow all these extensions, we have to adapt some file on the RG350. It's in the EmulationStation folder on the systems file, so you can edit it. And as you can see in this file, it shows up every emulator which is supported. It's always in a section embedded into the system tags here. So this is one system, it's for the MAME system. This is for the FBA system, for Capcom systems, Neo Geo, and so on. And you will also find, so let's look for Super Nintendo, here we are. And as you can see, the only extension type it supports is .zip. And you can add some more with whitespace separated extensions. So let's allow .smc as well as .sfc. These are two extensions I also have in my ROM folders. I have ROMs with the file extension SMC and SFC, and some of them are also in zip files. And you have to go through the whole list for all your emulators and add the associated extensions that you like to support. So after adapting the ES systems config file with the extensions for our different emulator systems, we can now unplug the micro SD card from our PC by just going there, right clicking on it, say remove, and now it can safely be removed from your computer. So you can unplug it now and plug it into the lower micro USB slot on your RG350, and let's see if everything worked. Now here we are back on our system together with our brand new micro SD card with our ROMs on it and the folders for EmulationStation. The good thing about it is that we can easily add ROMs or remove ROMs by just removing the external SD card, putting it on our PC, adding ROMs and organizing everything as we want. It's going to be a lot faster than doing it over the device, so I really recommend using external SD card. So now let's get started. We put it into the external SD card slot with the connector side up. Gonna push it in, and with your fingertip you just need to push it slightly in until it rests in there. Okay. Now in your emulator section right there, I hope you can see this, guys, you will now find the EmulationStation icon, and we can start it. And here we are. Let me correct the brightness. Okay. Yeah, this is what we get. So we added a Nintendo emulator, and it shows up in the section. We added the Super Nintendo emulator, Game Boy Advance, and PlayStation. So let's start at Nintendo. So we added the Super Mario Bros. ROM there. We start it, it starts the emulator. I haven't configured the emulator yet, so I think it should just run with default settings. It's not full screen, I think it's normal ratio, original ratio. Yep, here we go, Super Mario, do your job and kill those little gambas. Alright, that's the NES emulator. Let's jump back. We also added Super Nintendo, and I added two ROMs to show you the difference with these extensions. I think Super Mario World was a .zip file and this one was a .smc file, so both file types can be found. I'm gonna start Super Mario World first. Yeah. Start a short game. Give it a short play. Yeah. We all know this. We have read this. It's okay. You can skip it. Ah, how can you skip it? Please skip it. Okay. Bam. Oh. Yeehaw. Okay, I think I don't have to play this too long. You guys seen it's working, so let's go back to EmulationStation. Play Super Mario Kart to see that both ROM types are working. And to prove you guys that I'm a real bad Super Mario Kart player, I'm gonna start the first level. See, I don't even know how to start. Ding, ding. Out of my way. Okay, I picked up something. I shoot it. That's it. Okay. Took a shortcut. These magnetic tubes. Bam. Woo. Okay. Okay. Second place. First place. Okay, I've never been better than that, so let's stop right here. Woo. Okay, you've all seen I made it to the first place in this game, like never before. Game Boy Super Mario Land, that's the other ROM that we added for the Game Boy. Let's start this one, give it a short play. That's my favorite game, I love this. I don't know how many hours I spent with that game on the toilet. Okay, let's do it quick. Level 1 done. Okay. That was short play on the Game Boy. Let's have a quick look into Game Boy Advance. We added the Super Mario Advance ROM here. Yay! Yeah, I want to play a single player game. Oh, it has the old Super Mario Bros. On it. Yeah. I just want to prove that it's working. Come on. And this is a Game Boy Advance game now, with the Game Boy Advance emulator playing on the EmulationStation front end. Burp. And it runs so smooth. Okay, I think that's enough for the Game Boy Advance. And now let's play some PlayStation game. Yeah, you guys see it runs pretty smooth with 60 frames per second. Wow, 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 wow. Come on, we don't want to see the whole intro. Gonna skip it. I think this game had the coolest sound ever these days. Yeah. Everything runs so smooth on this device. Hey, bad guy.
Die, monster. You don't belong in this world. It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who...
Okay. You guys see? Everything works fine. This shows up 3 files because Castlevania is split into 2 files, and we also support to show up the CUE file. Just take the first one out of this selection and you're gonna be fine. So this is what I want to show you. Remember, I showed you in a different video how to change UI. Since I reinstalled it, this one is back on a different theme now that I don't like too much. I like, where is my favorite theme? Oh, yeah, I think it's this. Was it Simple CGV? I think that was this. Yeah. Yeah, this is the theme I preferred. So I hope guys you liked the video. I think you got an impression of how to install EmulationStation, add your favorite emulators to it, and add the associated ROMs. Yeah, I just recognized I didn't show you all the emulators I just added to the system. I think it was 6 and I only showed you 4 of them, but it's just because I forgot to add the ROMs. So it's a straightforward thing. Just add the emulator, add the ROMs, and EmulationStation will find them. If you like this video, just let me know. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. It would really help me to give me a feeling if what I do goes to the right direction or maybe the wrong direction. You can also leave me a comment in the comment section. I really like to answer you guys, get in contact with you. Okay, so have a nice time and see you in the next video. Bye.